In this lab, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at using alarms. So the objectives are to demonstrate the virtual center server alarm feature. We're going to create a virtual machine alarm to actually trigger conditions. We're then going to actually trigger off an event virtual machine alarm. We'll then acknowledge it. We'll then just disable the alarms at the end of all of this. So what I'm going to do here is just create a virtual machine alarm. So we'll highlight the virtual machine. We'll come to the alarms tab, click on definitions, and then what we'll do is we'll just create a new alarm. So on the general page, first thing I need to do here is just give this thing a name. So what we'll call this is we'll call it Brian, and then we'll say CPU, and we'll say VM, and then we'll put usage. So we've done that. So we're monitoring the virtual machine. We're going to monitor for a condition. The condition that we actually want to monitor for is actually CPU utilization. So what we'll do here is we'll just click add under the triggers. We're going to monitor for VM CPU usage. We want the condition to be above, and at this point we'll set this to 25%, and we'll set that for 30 seconds. So if we go above 25%, 30 seconds, trigger a warning. We'll then say if we go above 50% or 5 minutes, trigger an alert. We'll also trigger if any of the conditions are satisfied. Now on the reporting tab, not really issued in the case of this lab. Repeat triggered alarm when condition exceeds this range here. We'll see it before then, and I'm going to see the alarm because I am sitting in front of this thing, so I'm not really bothered about repeating any triggered alarm events. And then click on the actions. We now need to say what to do when this alarm triggers. So I'll click add. And in the case of the actions, what I want to do here, I actually just want to, in the case of the alarm triggering, I want to suspend the virtual machine. I want to do that as soon as we go to a warning state. Once we suspend the virtual machine, really everything else is completely redundant. So we'll set everything else to blank. Just check everything, make sure everything's okay, which it is. So we'll click OK. So virtual machine above 25%, CPU usage, trigger a warning, suspend the virtual machine. Now what I want to do is I want to create an alarm to tell me that the virtual machine is suspended. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm actually going to set this on the folder. So under alarms, definitions, right click, new alarm. What we're going to call this one is we're just going to call this one, in this case, Brian VM suspended. What we want to do here is suspending the virtual machine is actually an event. So we're going to monitor for events. Next thing we need to do is just set up our triggers. So because we're monitoring for an event, we're going to add in an event. And what we want to do here is the event is the fact that the virtual machine has actually suspended. So we'll just scroll down here. So what we got, there we go, VM suspended. And what we want to do here is we actually want to do something with this. So I'm just going to go to advanced. And what I'm going to do here is just add an argument. I'm just going to click on my change tag under the argument. Specify VM name. There we go, and the VM will be equal to the name of my virtual machine. So that's going to be Brian 05-1. Once we've done all of that, fairly happy with all of this, so we'll just click OK. Then what we want to do is just go to our Actions tab. So we've got Reporting, Action. We don't really need to set anything within here, so what we'll do is we'll just leave these blank. Click OK, and we should have our alarm sitting down at the bottom, which we have. Next thing I need to do now is actually trigger these alarms. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually set this up to trigger off both alarms. So all we need to do, into the VM, open up the console, log into the VM, and we'll just log in here. Now what we'll do is just click off our CPU busy program. And we'll just run it a couple of times, just to make sure we do actually get some usage. What we'll do at this point here, we're going to need to leave that for about 30 seconds. So we'll just pause the video for 30 seconds and come back to it hopefully when the alarm triggers. Okay, the alarm's triggered, so we can see that the alarm has actually triggered. Going to a little warning status now. We can now see that we've got the Brian VM suspended alarms popped up as well. We'll click on the virtual machine, click on its summary tab, and what we should see, virtual machine has now suspended. So now that it has suspended the virtual machine, that's proof that the alarms have actually worked. So next thing I'll do here is just disable the alarms, re-enable the virtual machine, and just close down the open with command prompt. So all I'm going to do is going to click on the alarm, acknowledge the alarm. We'll then clear this alarm. Do the same thing on this one here for the actual server itself. Clear the alarm. So we can see visibly now that the virtual machine has suspended. So we'll just come to the virtual machine first of all, click on the alarms tab. And all I'm going to do here is rather than just disable this thing, I'm actually just going to remove it. I'm then going to come up to the folder on the alarms, under definitions, right click the virtual machine alarm and remove it. So definitely gone. Next thing we'll do here is we'll just unsuspend this virtual machine. We'll just power it on. We'll stick it on the lower numbered host and power it on. We'll then see that the virtual machine will go from suspended to powered on. So I'll just click this on tasks just so we can watch this occurring. Open the console to the virtual machine, and all I'm going to do here is just kill off these CPU busy scripts. So there you go, that's the alarms in the Virtual Center server system. Thanks very much.